is a pharmacy student and is currently completing his placement in a community pharmacy. Paul has been approaching his preceptor, Jane, whenever he's unsure of anything. Jane has been assisting Paul with his questions, but she's wondering if there is perhaps a more beneficial way of helping Paul. Jane asks her friend Anna how her preceptorship is going. Anna says it's going really well, especially after she discovered a helpful tool to assist her student with making critical decisions in the pharmacy.
I use One-Minute Preceptors. They're quick and really easy, and on top of that, the students love them.
Really? How does it work?
There are 6 steps. First, you ask the student to make a decision about the scenario by asking them what do they think, or what do they think they should do.
But what if they're wrong?
That's okay. It's important for them to at least come to a decision first.
Okay, I can do that. What's next?
The next step is to get them to explain their reasoning behind the decision. Ask questions like, why do you think that? Or tell me why. This will help you make sure they came to the right decision the right way, and if they're on the wrong track, you need to know where they went wrong. This can sometimes be the longest step, but just focus on one main theme or topic for the session and move on. The next few steps are all linked together. Step 3 is to reinforce what was done right. Pick only 1 or 2 things and let them know that they did well.
Giving positive feedback is the best.
Keep it short, because the next step is to tell the students about errors and omissions that they made by giving guidance on where they can improve.
Do I have to? What if they have 5 things that they did wrong?
Just pick 1 thing. Tell them and move on, because remember, you only have 1 minute.
Okay, I guess I can do that.
The 5th step is to teach the student a general principle or a general point that applies to most cases. Something like, remember to always check if the patient is taking any other medication.
That's cool, like a take-home lesson to remember for next time.
Yes, and last but not least, you should provide the student with the opportunity to reflect on what was discussed. They should also think about what they could improve on for the next scenario. And that's it.
Really? That's a minute? That's so fast.
Now, before you go, can you remember the 6 steps?
I think I can. The first is to get the student to make a decision, then look for the reasoning or rationale behind their decision. Next is to reinforce what they did right, then I'll need to correct any errors. I'll clarify what the take-home lesson is, and finally, I'll ensure that the student reflects on the session.
That's it. You've got it.
While back at the pharmacy the following day, Jane was presented with the opportunity to try use the One-Minute Preceptor method when Paul came to ask her a question.
Jane, can you please help me to decide on an OTC medicine to recommend for a patient with lower back pain?
Okay, what do you think you should recommend?
I was going to recommend ibuprofen, 200 milligrams 3 times a day for 3 days.
Can you tell me why you've decided that? What else did you consider or rule out?
I checked with the patient. They don't take any other medicines and have no history of asthma. I remembered that we learned about problems with asthmatics using ibuprofen.
You were right to check if the patient has asthma, as people with asthma can have a reaction to ibuprofen. You did well. But you should have also considered if the patient has any history of gastrointestinal bleeding or ulcers.
Thank you. I'll definitely remember that for the next time.
The key thing for us to remember in the future for a patient with lower back pain is to check if the patient has a history of asthma, gastrointestinal bleeding, or ulcers before recommending ibuprofen. Paul, you should reflect on this patient interaction and how you can improve your counseling and patient consultation skills over the coming weeks.